Shalom Aleichem, welcome to our sixth Dayah that I said is not going to be called a Dayah soon, but for now it is. And it's called Shevas Achim Gam Yachad. I changed the name. Shevas Achim Gam Yachad, and the name in English is Same Team Mindset. Okay, it's what Stephen Covey called win-win, think win-win, but we're calling it same team mindset. And I think I modified it. I tell you, as I've been going, like basically over giving this course, I've been going Ian through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And although it is just a tremendous piece of work, it's a masterpiece of a book. But as I'm digging deeper into it, especially as I've grown in my knowledge since I looked at it last time, um, it's there's quite a bit more kind of self-involvement than I thought it had originally. And it's also very like there's a lot of very much business. It's very business orientated, whatever. Yeah. So it has been modified quite. I have modified it quite a lot. So let's just go back through again quickly. So the first day is live life. Yeah. Nothing's happening until you've decided to take responsibility for your life and you are in control of your reactions. You're going to proact, not react. When something happens, there's this little gap between me and between the stimulus and my response, and that little gap will allow me to act accordingly as opposed to act reactively. Okay, that's the first. Without that, there's nothing. That's the foundation of everything. That you are responsible, that you are a player in the game, not being played by the game. Without that, there's nothing else. Nothing else. Immediately after that, now the first thing is be humble. Yeah, Bhikshu another. Be humble. If you're not humble, meaning you're not available to learn, then even though you've decided to play the game, yeah, there's again nothing doing. So that's another foundation. Once you've now decided to play the game, now we have know your mission, which is not so specifically about having a specific mission. It's about clarifying your values. And if you clarify your values extremely precisely, which you can do, remember the main way of doing that is the eulogy, writing your own hesped. And by the way, we gave that over. It was on Parshas Chai Sarah when that day it was in Parshas Chai Sarah when Avram is Maspid Sarah. But anyway, clarifying our values, even if you don't have an actual mission, yeah, but you know the values that you hold dear and true, yeah, then you really do have a mission because those values, you want to bring those values into the world. And it might be, and it might not be until you're 45, 50, 60 years old until you see an actual opportunity to open an organization to give over those values. But until then, and maybe it won't even happen like that, but when you know what your values are, yeah, then you've got your mission. That is your mission. It might not be absolutely specific, but that's your mission. Once you've got your mission, now do what matters and don't do what doesn't matter. And that's when it all comes together. Once you're holding there, that's called the shleimus of bein adam la'atzmai. You are now in a healthy place with yourself. So it's live life, be humble, know your mission, do what matters. If you're holding by those 4 days, yeah, now you have a really, really healthy relationship with yourself. And you'll see at that point, already people will start getting elevated in your presence. People will start being lifted up just by your presence. That's for sure. Okay, now we're holding at a place where our Bein Adam La'atzmai is looking good, is healthy. Now we're ready to embark upon our Bein Adam L'Chaveroi, which means our relationship with others. And don't forget, they work in tandem. It's not like you have to do that and then you can start working. Everything's a big mush, and you play what you do what you can when you can. Um, the first of the second four, which is the fifth Dayah, is called recognize the other. Yeah, again, just like be proactive, basically not be proactive, just like live life says that you exist. Yeah, you're not just a graphic in the game, you exist. Yeah, know the other says the other exists. It's the same. It's the parallel. Just the first one's about you, and the neck and number five, recognize the other now is trying to get into the kishkas that other people are actually as real as you are, which is that's a madrega. That really is a madrega. Okay, now we're here. Sheves achim gam yachad. Same team mindset. Okay, same team mindset definition. To approach every interaction with the belief that we are on the same team and that mutual success is the only success. Could you imagine how beautiful this world would look if we all had a same team mindset? And that's just the most unbelievable, like utopian thought you could ever imagine. To approach every interaction with the belief that we are on the same team and that mutual success is the only success. Our main Kane here at zone. Okay, reverse definition. And again, we're going to be poking. Like this has been a very kind of pokey series, yeah. So this is also aimed to poke. And believe me, I've over by through the preparation of all of this, I've been poking myself in very deep places. Yeah. Okay, reverse definition. To approach every interaction with a competitive or submissive mindset focused on victory or approval over mutual benefit. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I tried to get it down to less than that. This is these definitions are literally after like, dozens and dozens of modifications. To approach it, reverse definition, to approach every interaction with a competitive or submissive mindset, focused on victory or approval over mutual benefit. So,
Why,
so
why submissive mindset?
yeah, so it's not when we're on the same team, yeah. Now, I want you to be a winner, but I also want me to be a winner. So the obvious option would look, I want to win and I want you to lose. That's like the obvious option. But what about if I want to lose to let you win? That's also letting the team down. Who am I to just lose? It could be that I decide that that's the best thing to do. But if I don't see that as the best option, who am I to not, who am I to give in on what I need for the team. If we're part of the team, then either you losing or me losing, it's both a tragedy. Both of us are, but it's a tragedy for both of us. So the obvious option is going to be when it's about me beating you. But there's another option which is prevalent among some of us, different personality types, which is about me capitulating to you. Like me, okay, fine, have your way. Fine, I'll do whatever you want. That's fine. Yeah, that's that's a lot of the way it is with how it can be with children, where we just can't be bothered and we just give up. Yeah. So that's about that. Okay, the three affirmations. And there's a lot to talk about here. I believe there's enough for everyone. So I genuinely celebrate others' success without feeling diminished. I believe there's enough for everyone. This is called the abundance mentality. I believe that there is enough for everyone, so I genuinely celebrate others' success without feeling diminished. Affirmation two. We haven't learned about this, but we'll learn about this very shortly, B'ezrat Hashem. I embrace the emotional bank account principle and commit to making constant deposits. Anyone here is familiar with that emotional bank account? It's a very simple idea, but it's very profound. So I embrace the emotional bank account principle and commit to making constant deposits. Affirmation 3. My security comes from within, making victory over others irrelevant. I compete only with myself. That's a really big one. Victory over another should be mamash irrelevant to us. Being better than someone else, if you want to have a healthy, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be emotionally healthy, an emotionally healthy person takes no hana or sipuk, how do you say that? Pleasure or
Pleasure.
satisfaction in beating someone. An emotionally healthy person takes no pleasure or satisfaction in beating someone, except for one person. Their wife. I'm joking. Themselves. A healthy a healthy emotional person realizes that you are in competition with only one person, and that's you. You are striving to better yourself. And that gives you pleasure and satisfaction when you raise your game. But being better than somebody else, that should be utterly irrelevant to you in the worst case scenario. And hopefully it should make you feel kind of uncomfortable because you made someone feel inferior to you. But the idea of beating someone, I know that well, we'll see, we'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly run through this again. And don't forget as well, I'm going to give all of this, when I just get a minute together, you'll get all of this as it's all printed. It all looks really nice as well, kind of. Okay, this day is called Sheves Achim Gam Yachad, which translates as sitting with your brothers together. It's called same team mindset. Definition: to approach every interaction with the belief that we are on the same team and that mutual success is the only success. Reverse definition: to approach every interaction with a competitive or submissive mindset focused on victory or approval over mutual benefit. Affirmation 1. I believe there's enough for everyone, so I genuinely celebrate others' success without feeling diminished. Celebrating somebody else's success, like genuinely, not just paying it lip service. It's very easy to big smiles and kol hakavod, and inside you're like eating your heart out, or you feel uncomfortable that he did it or he got it or he whatever it. Yeah. That's something that we really have to work on. We have to feel genuine. And how do you do that? It's very simple. It's just forget about yourself. Think about their victory, their pleasure, their simcha, their whatever it is. And those feelings of diminishment should immediately disappear, really, immediately. Okay, number 2 is I embrace the emotional bank account principle and commit to making consistent deposits. Number 3, my security comes from within, making victory over others irrelevant. I compete only with myself. Okay. We've said this before, but just it's an interesting idea. The idea of giving to hocha in Yiddishkeit, yeah, to give someone a rebuke to hocha is the shoresh of that word is yochech, which is basically, if you boil it down to its 2-letter shoresh, is kaf ches, which really means to give koyach to someone. So the whole concept in Yiddishkeit of rebuking somebody is the idea of giving them koyach, meaning we're on the same team. The fact that you're screwing up is a problem for the team. It's not that I'm taking it personally or you're offending my sensibilities, etc., etc. It's not good for the team. It's not good for the organization. We're working for the same company. So I mean, just imagine the idea of seeing the entire world as a brotherhood. We're not just talking about Yidden here, and we're not even just talking about other human beings. We're talking about the whole of creation. We're on the same team. We're really on the same team, and it's not a stretch. I'm going to quote for you the Lubavitcher Rebbe. In 1991, I don't know if you remember, there were these riots in New York in Crown Heights. There was a car accident, and a black child got knocked over and killed, and there was some other crazy stuff that kicked off at that time. You remember that? Anyone remembers that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really serious, very bad stuff. A Yid actually got killed, got stabbed to death because then lots of people injured. It was crazy. So it created this kind of race war between the Jews and the blacks in Crown Heights. And the mayor at the time was Mayor Dinkins, and he went to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he said to him, he expressed hope for harmony between the two groups, the Jews and the blacks. Yeah, what did the Rebbe say to him? The Rebbe said to him, it says, the Rebbe responded by emphasizing unity, saying, it's not two sides, it's one side. Because we are one people in the city of New York under one administration protected by one God. The Lubavitcher Rebbe saw it like, look, that doesn't mean that I have to eat with you. That doesn't mean that I have to marry my children to your children. It doesn't mean that at all. In fact, it could mean that we have to be actually quite separate from each other. That doesn't mean we're not on the same team. That doesn't mean that we're not working with each other at all. Absolutely not. There's no difference. There's absolutely no. Just like in a big company, there are people in one department that never meet people in the other department. But if they do need to meet, if there is some kind of, there needs to be some kind of coalition, it will be able to take place like that. So that's how it is with the Yidden, and that we are an Kadosh. We are meant to be separate. I mean, just, look at the laws of kashrus. Go through the laws of kashrus and you tell me, is it possible to have any meaningful relationship with a non-Jew? Like any real intimate relationship with a non-Jew. You can't eat any of their food. You can't drink their wine. It's really difficult. I mean, there's meant to be a separation. That's called kadosh. We're separate. But that doesn't mean we're not on the same team. We're not one people. We're not one creation. We don't have one God. It doesn't mean that at all. At all. It's a very important idea. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. I went go-karting with my dad and my brother-in-laws and my two oldest boys 2, 3 years ago in England to one of these a nice fat. It's probably nothing to like what there is in America, but it was like for England. Even had a ramp going up and like a tunnel, and it was a cool go-karting place. And I was doing, I was probably driving around the thing for 20 minutes or something. And so I did a lot of thinking while I was driving, and I learned 3 lessons, very deep lessons. And one of them is very apropos for this. So the first one I learned was practice makes perfect. That with every lap you go round, you work out again the next, now it's here, so I should move a little bit more this way. I could take the corner a little bit tighter, etc. Yeah. So practice makes perfect, number one. And then this was really number two, but I'm gonna say number two. This was the deepest thought I had, but this isn't what the real hup was after going round a few times. I kept noticing there was this guy passing me. He wasn't my dad or my brothers. There was like another guy, yeah. He was one of the guys who's like got like some kind of pass. He's got some kind of membership, yeah. And he was killing us. Literally, he was lapping us. So I had a good idea. I was like, why don't I follow him and see what he does? That's the idea of the tzaddik and of the Rebbe, of emulating the ways of the tzaddik, is find somebody who's done it already and copy him in his level. And then you literally, when I did that, I started knocking like mummish, like lots of time off of that was very good. And then this is the thing. I realize, the way it starts is you don't actually start in pole position, yeah, you just start, and then the next person goes, and at the end, it's all about times. So the winner is the one they log your time. You know what I'm talking about, yeah? So who are you racing against? You're just racing against yourself. All the other guys on the circuit are just demiones. It's just graphics. You're just racing against yourself. That's it. And that's really what this world is. You are racing against yourself exclusively. You are not in competition with anyone else. No one. No one else. Isn't that an amazing thought? Isn't that like such a weight off your shoulders? You're not in competition with anyone else, just yourself. And that is a foundation of this. That is the foundation of this Daya, of the same team mindset, is you can't compete against someone on your team, and the whole world is your team. So we have to develop this constant, this deep kind of inner competitiveness against ourselves, and a zero competition mindset with anybody else. The goal is, these are two statements that I always say when it comes to anyone. This, if you can internalize these two statements, you'll never feel uncomfortable around anyone. You'll never feel insecure. You'll never feel superior. Nothing. Two statements is, how can I help you? How can I learn from you? If you always keep that in your mind whenever you meet somebody new, how can I help you? How can I learn from you? Because there are some people who are higher than you, and therefore you have to learn from them. Or maybe you can help them in other ways. And then there's some people who are lower than you, and therefore you have to help them. And also you can learn from them. But you have to, for me to go into a school, with 15, 16-year-old kids, and to sit there and ask them to teach me would probably not be the responsible thing to do. Yeah. Might be the humble thing to do, but not the responsible thing to do. When you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you've got a lot of experience and knowledge behind you. I saw an interview with Jordan Peterson and two guys. One of them was like a 25-year-old, and it was almost laughable to hear, because Jordan Peterson's a Goyan and a tremendous, to hear a 25-year-old trying to have a conversation with him. It was almost, I mean, it was embarrassing for the kid because he was a very put together, intelligent person. But when you're in front of Jordan Peterson, just shut up and listen, basically. That was what he was trying to put in his things, and you're like, shh, shh, shh. That's what you're thinking inside you. Anyway. Okay, so the foundation of all human interaction is what's called the emotional bank account. Okay, it's very simple. It just basically means that you have a bank account with every person you meet. About the minute you meet somebody, you open up an emotional bank account, and that bank account, just like a regular bank account, can look very healthy, or it could be the exact opposite. It could look very unhealthy. Person could be in the black, or a person could be in the red. So how do we make deposits and how do we make withdrawals? Deposits are made. What do you guys think would be the ultimate deposit into the emotional bank account? The ultimate thing you can do, the top of the list, and conversely, the ultimate withdrawal.
I would
Listening.
guess.
Yeah, go on.
Ben, did you say something?
I said listening.
Listening, that's a good one. That's very high up there. It's not the top, but that's definitely very high up there. Maybe the second.
I was going to say expressing gratitude.
Not the top. Again, a very good one. Very good one, but not the top.
Truth.
That's vague. Maybe you're saying it, but go on.
Maybe apologizing for something you
That's
didn't do.
that's also good, but the ultimate one, and you're just gonna go, ugh. Shut up, Schnall.
Yeah.
The other one
Love.
is what?
Agreeing with them? Agreeing with them?
No, no, absolutely not. That's not a deposit.
Love?
No,
Uh,
keeping promises.
ah,
Making and keeping promises. That's the ultimate, that's the ultimate deposit. And Chas v'shalom, making and breaking promises is the ultimate withdrawal. Because remember, a relationship really, there's lots, yeah, relationships are big sugyas. They're big topics. But if you wanna boil down a relationship, what all relationships are in one word is just trust. That's what, if there's no trust, there's no relationship. Even if there's love, there could be deep love and no trust, no relationship. Even
I trust.
respect, but no trust. That you can't really have respect without trust. Trust. A relationship. The trust and relationship. Those words are almost synonymous. Yeah. So we've said you want to be trusted by someone. There's only one way. Be trustworthy. It's so simple. It's just annoying to hear because it puts the onus on your shoulders. So that's the top of the list. The biggest deposit you can make is never breaking your word. That's hard. Sometimes you have to. And then if that's the case, then you have to try and do as much, as much makeup as you can, as much do whatever you can to make that up. But that's the ultimate. And then you said all the other things you said are for sure true. Listening, gratitude, saying sorry, being respectable, just being a mensch, being courteous, giving compliments. Yeah, just being a mensch, being nice. Yeah, you put in huge deposits. And what happens is when the bank account gets very, very black, yeah, and you become a millionaire, yeah, you can even become a billionaire, yeah, or even a trillionaire, yeah. Once you're in those madrigas of billionaire or trillionaire, then you can screw up and it doesn't matter because you've got so much money in the bank account. Some money will be drawn, but you'll get through it. Meaning, if you're in a really good place with your kids and you tell your kids you're going to pick them up from school at 4 o'clock and you push it, forget, and you get a phone call with a crying kid at 5 o'clock. Yeah, where are you? Abba, where are you? I mean, I've done this. Where are you? And you're like, I'm coming. So sorry, so sorry. They will get through that without any problems. Without any problems, they will get through that. Masha'ain Kane, if the bank account is running close to red, yeah, and you do that, then that can be really, really bad news. Really bad news.
They'll get through it,
Yeah,
but they're
Michael,
still but
go
they're
on.
still going to remind you about it.
Say again.
They'll get through it, but they're still going to remind you about it.
What about when you're a trillionaire?
No, about forgetting to pick them up from school.
Yeah, well, maybe, but it won't be like a thorn in their side. It won't be like a pain in their heart. Yeah. But that's a very deep idea that when you have a positive, when you're in a really good place with somebody, then you can let them down. I mean, obviously you're not going to do that on purpose, but if you let them down, then everyone will get through it. It will be okay. And Marshenka, it's a very, very important idea, incredibly
I just
important.
want to say that from my experience,
Yeah,
deposits and withdrawals are not the same. So, for example, if you make a promise and you keep it, that's your deposit. But then if you make a promise and you break it, the withdrawal is much, much, much greater than
I
the.
agree with you. Natalia, I agree with you. Yeah, very good. Square. Definitely agree with you. Just like, just like it's easier to smash a glass than it is to make a glass. To destroy something is always much easier than to create something. Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges to having a same team mindset is basically the scripting that we are handed by everywhere by all of society. Like the minute you get into school, grades are actually all relative. So there's going to be the same amount of people who get E's and the same people who get A's. It's a sliding scale. So by definition, in the education system, you are competing against everybody else. That's what education is. 10%, the top 10% get A's, the next 10% get B's, the next 10% get C's. So it's not about an objective standard, it's about a relative competitive standard. Also, sports. I mean, sports by definition is for me to win, you need to lose. If you didn't lose, then I didn't win. That's the same with like war and politics and all these. We're giving all these subliminal messages, or even something a little scarier. Is you've ever heard the idea that he's a top bocher? Well, he's at the top. He's one of the best boys in the yeshiva. I mean, that always like kind of rubbed me up the wrong way, But that's really what this is. This is a competitive mindset. Why can't you just say this guy is a great guy? Why did you have to be the top in the yeshiva? Who cares? Top, middle, bottom, whatever. The guy's a good guy. He's an objectively good guy. He's a dava bifnei atzma. He stands on his own 2 feet. It's not because, like Noach, he was in a bunch of, there's a bunch of Rishayim. So he was at Sadik B'doiroi, a relative tzaddik. But you don't have to say that. You don't have to say that guy's a top guy in the yeshiva. It's insidious to say something like that. It puts you in a very bad place. So that's the idea of where the idea of basically win-lose comes from, meaning that I want to win, but it has to be that you also lose. Me just winning, that's not enough. And a lot of people listen to Donald Trump speak. He is the embodiment of win-lose, the embodiment of it. Victory to him is so precious. It's a very it's a very it's not a good place. It's not a good place. But equally unacceptable is lose-win, where you just give in because you want the approval, you want the love, you want the whatever it is. That's coming from weakness. So one's coming from a desire to dominate, and one's coming from a desire to be approved. It's the same mindset. Just probably the guy who's win-lose is a very like alpha male, and the guy who's lose-win is very delta male. I don't know what you'd say, what it's called, like very whatever it is, a very passive person. Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's all about relative. It's all competition. It's all relative. It's all relative. So the three conditions that are essential for the same team mindset are these three things: inner security, a balance between courage and consideration, and the abundance mindset. These three things are very different things, and they're all very important. So inner security means that I don't live in a world of comparison. I mean, we've said this. I'm just putting it. I'm ordering it. I don't live in a world of comparison because this guy is a schlepper doesn't make me feel good about myself, and because this guy is an all-star doesn't make me feel bad about myself. It's irrelevant. You're you and I'm me. We're on the same team. If I was you and you were me, then that would be weird. So it's really based on this idea. I mean, one of the outgrowths of this as well is, very few people can deal with criticism. Yeah, it's very difficult to hear criticism, but people love compliments. but you can't have one without the other. If you love compliments, then you hate criticism. If you hate criticism, then you love compliments. The only other option is you don't care about either. That's the only other option. You can't you can't not care about criticism and be lifted up by compliments. That doesn't make any sense. You understand? Why? Because why is it that your compliment lifts me up? Because I care about what you think about me. Now, if I've done something wrong, I need to fix that. Then I need to care about what you think about me. But what you think about me has got nothing to do with me. Meaning, if you tell me that I've done something wrong, then I need to work that out. But your thoughts about me do not determine who I am. So, like I said to Yitz, you said this not long ago, is with Manis said this. It's amazing. Is that when someone gives you a compliment, really what you should be doing is marveling at them. Oh, wow, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. That makes me feel really good, you should say. But really you're just that's such a nice person to go out of his way to say something nice to me. And I saw he was searching for something nice to say. I saw that. And I appreciate that. That's I see that you know that whether you want to say that or not, that's up to you. But that's really when someone compliments you, yeah, you should be thinking about them. If that's lifting you up, yeah, which is very hard for it not to, but if that's lifting you up, commensurate to that, when you receive criticism, that will put you down. There's no, you understand? It's Pasha, yeah? You can't pick up one edge of the stick without picking up the other end of the stick. So if you want to not be affected by criticism, how do you work on it? Is not being affected by compliments. That's the only other option. And that's this idea of inner security. You can't, if your security isn't derived from an inner place, it's not extrinsic or external, then if your inner security is coming from an inner place, then you are absolutely content with being on the same team as everybody else. And your success is as important as my success. And my success is as important as your success. We all need to be successful because it's about the team. So that's number one, is inner security. Number two, this is more like a skill, is the balance between courage and consideration. Meaning, if my consideration is very, very high, but I've got no courage, then I'm going to go for lose-win. I'll lose and you win. If my courage is very high, but I've got no consideration, then I'm going to be all about win-lose. So we need a balance of courage and consideration. And that's essential for the same team mindset. Yeah, Michael.
Do you mean consideration like being considerate of somebody, or consideration as far as thinking?
I think it's the same thing. I was thinking being considerate,
Okay.
appreciating them. So you need courage because you need to win. Because if you lose, you go into a business deal and you're not making the money that you should be making, well, then the team is losing. The whole team's losing. So you need to do that. You can't be soft. You can't be soft. You have to be courageous and considerate. It's not about just being hard. It's about being hard and soft at the same time. You can do both of those things, especially when it comes to, in the house, stuff like this. Like you can't yield. There's a lot of rules in the house that you cannot yield on. You cannot. And then there's a lot of times when you must, and it's a balance. And now this is absolutely foundational, is the abundance mentality. I'm going to tell you something really disturbing that it's in my house. It's a disturbing issue in my house. we got given this plate of cookies. Like my girls love making chocolate chip cookies, and they try all different, and they make the most delicious. And one time, this lady from around the corner gave us a plate of cookies. I can't remember what it was for, Shamzocha or had a baby, something like this, and they were mamish unbelievable. And she wouldn't give us the recipe. I was I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. So the reason why apparently is her husband said that one day she might go into business and she doesn't want to give away the recipe. And that was just absolutely unacceptable in my mind. That was so unacceptable. So last night is really funny. Last night I had my retirement party from photography. Yeah, I officially retired from photography, and I actually threw a party at my house to like mark the occasion. And so obviously everyone started piping up and saying nice things. And the overriding thing that people said was that made the biggest impact on them was um my what's the word? The way that I just would share everything that I knew. All the techniques that I developed and all these kind of like secret techniques, I never saw them as secret techniques. I just got excited by stuff and I like to help, and I just would always give it over. And it was amazing to see. It was just last night, Hashkacha to say for this year. It was amazing to see what a what what an imprint that made on people. I never thought about it. I just, just explain things to people, like why not? And it was amazing to see how that affected them the most. And we've been through a lot of stuff with a lot of these people, and they were most affected by that, just that that willingness to share. That idea of I'm not holding on to stuff for myself. Your success is as choshev as my success. Okay, so integration. We'll say these are a bunch of ideas like we've done with the previous things we're going to say quickly. Again, you could speak for a long time on each of one of these things, but we'll say it quite quickly. Okay, this is an idea this is really apropos for all of the Dayas, is we are trying to create a culture in our homes. That can't be like emphasized enough, is that our homes are they're meant to have a culture. And the culture is really the parents writ large. That's what it's meant. That's what the culture is. That is what the culture is, the parents writ large. And one of the most important parts of a healthy culture in a house is same team mindset. We are one team. We are a team. Your failure is not my success. In fact, the opposite. Your failure is my failure. Your success is my success. It's not about being better than anyone. It's about helping everyone be the best they can be. And when the family is a team, as opposed to disparate individuals, that's great. That's mamish gewaldic.
Yeah, that'd be great to come up with my kids come home, wife comes home, have a little dinner, have a team. We're creating a team, make everybody makes banners, and assign roles
T-shirts,
to everybody. Yeah, make it
yeah,
official. Make it
mama's
official
t-shirts,
now.
caps. We've done that before. We even bought little flags for the car when we drove on holidays, and we get like a printed flag with a picture of the family on it. And we're the team. We're the diamond team. That's what it is. And we try. I really, we bought t-shirts for everyone. We try and really make that our cult. That's part of the family culture. I had such a nachas the other day that it was my daughter's 17th birthday, and my 18-year-old son, is he 19 now? My 18-year-old son, he ordered a pizza and an iced coffee, got it sent to her work where she works. I was so moved by that. That was such a victory for me. I was so grateful for that. Baruch Hashem. So anyway, so the same team mindset, the first most important part of this is never ever compare children. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Never compare children. And another idea, and you can fill in a lot more blanks yourselves, try and involve the kids in as much stuff as possible in regards to like decisions for the house. Ask them questions about the house. Ask them questions about, obviously there's a lot of things they can't have an opinion on, but whenever they can, seize the moment. When you go shopping, let them have an opinion. I'm sure you do anyway. This is obvious stuff, but also, um, yeah, we have a birthday for, I mean, we have a lot of kids, Baruch Hashem, so we have a lot of birthdays. And we always have, like, on Shabbos, we have everyone sits together and we have a few, candies and some potato chips and a little cake, and we say some brachas, and it's a family, we don't make them, it's not a massive thing, it's like a 30-minute thing. We just sit down, and that again imbues this team, this team feeling. It really makes us feel like a team. Um, yeah, family games. When you go, like, if you go bowling with the family, concentrate on the team score as opposed to the individual score. And then again, try and better the team. And you could do this with anything. Yeah, obviously there are certain games that don't lend themselves to this. In Monopoly, you can set up, you can set up like Gemach funds to help your brother and sister get back on their feet, with low interest, low interest loans and things like that, or no interest loans, whatever it is, or just give tzedakah, and celebrate as a family, like I just said before, celebrate as a family. Also, reward the family when someone does something good in the family that's really worthy of a reward. Yeah. Um, Take the whole family out for a meal. Make their victory our victory. You know what I'm saying? Okay, another few ideas is sticking up for those who are not present. If somebody speaks negatively about somebody in your presence, stick up for them. Present a defense. Present a defense. Yeah, use language, speak as much as possible as we and us, as opposed to you and I. That's a simple thing, but always in the family, we, us. Pray for others, daven for other people, share information freely. We said about that. Yeah, reward systems for children is never have them competing against each other, and as much as possible have them working with each other to win, however it works. This is just a nice conceptual idea, is when there's a problem, instead of looking at it like, here's the problem and I'm here and you're here, let's move around onto the same side of the table. Let's discuss it like that, with you on the same side. And that's actually what I did now, just with, I had a machlokes between two of my girls, and I sat them down. Did I say this to you? I said it to someone recently. Anyway, so I sat them down on the table. They were both at odds with each other, my 8-year-old and my 15-year-old, and I took them into the kitchen, and I made it very official. I sat them at the table and I stood there, and they sat facing each other. I said, no, move around, sit on the same side as each other. Again, these things are very small things. They make a big difference. They don't make a big difference, but do they make some kind of difference? Probably. Shanghai. And what else? Yeah, that's basically the list. That's basically the list. So that same team mindset. Okay, we're on the same team. And like I just said, if let's just read the definition again. Just imagine a world where everybody had this. Imagine a world where everybody had this mindset to approach every interaction with the belief that we are on the same team and that mutual success is the only success. Mind blowing. Okay, we should be Zoicha to the same team mindset, and we're getting there. We've only got two more days to go. This has been a fun project. I've enjoyed it anyway. Okay, shkoyach, everyone. Sei gesund.